We listen to lo-fi for a lot of reasons. For some of us, it helps us get work done, for others it helps to put you to sleep, and some people just like to leave it on the background throughout their day. But there's a third group of people like me who are lonely, and we listen to it because we need something or someone to connect to. Just like with any genre, it can be incredibly difficult to pinpoint exactly where it started. However, we can narrow it down pretty far and say that lo-fi was in part created, or at least popularized, by a man named Jun Seba, or more commonly known as Nujabes. Under heavy influence from jazz and golden era hip-hop, Seba combined the two, creating a sound that takes hip-hop, gives it a bit more nuance, and mellows it out. Now, I don't think it's any coincidence that Seba is from Japan, which, if you didn't know, is one of the loneliest countries in the world. There's a brilliant video on this, which I'll leave in the description in case you'd like to learn some more about it. Seba was a rare case, a Japanese hip-hop artist who broke out into the rest of the world. In the world of 90s and 2000s hip-hop, a lot of people were true to their roots and where they grew up, very much thriving in their circles. But to see someone from all the way across the world collaborate with artists from countries like the US is very fascinating. But this was no accident. Seba had an incredibly creative mind and used samples from jazz and hip-hop like nobody has ever heard before. All this helped put him on the map as a creative genius, slowly spreading his sound all over the globe. But all of his skills truly paid off when he was asked to do the soundtrack for a little anime known as Samurai Champloo. The show is widely known to be absolutely amazing and incredibly good with its atmosphere, and I think a very large part of it has to do with Seba's work on the show. His songs inject this cool, laid-back vibe that you don't really get from any other anime. But Samurai Champloo did more than just create a cool vibe. It inspired countless people to start creating lo-fi music. People saw how much of a distinct mood it can create, and they wanted to follow suit, and so lo-fi had exploded. Nowadays, you can find lo-fi videos to study and relax to everywhere you look, but what makes this genre so widespread? There are plenty of reasons, such as its cool atmosphere and its calming, non-distracting nature, but the one I really want to talk about is how it helps those who are lonely. I mentioned a bit ago that Japan is a very lonely country, and it's fitting that that's where Seba comes from. Being lonely doesn't necessarily mean that there's nobody with you, because Japan is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. It more means you don't know where you belong, you don't know your purpose, and you're not sure if you're ever going to truly find it. For many people that feel this way, it's very difficult to break out of it. However, when we hear lo-fi, it can be exactly what we need. It's a genre that steps away from the crowd of fun and dancey music and creates a space that is much smaller, much softer, and keeps to itself, the same way we often do when we feel alone. Take a look at some of the comments on these lo-fi compilations. You get people saying things like, "I'm not afraid of death, I'm just scared that I'm going to die before I get to experience true happiness." And people reciting quotes like, "Crying doesn't mean a man's weak, it just means that he's been strong for far too long." These are people who are completely lost in their own thoughts, afraid as to whether or not they'll ever get to see themselves happy. However, listening to this music and scrolling through the comments is somehow extremely comforting. We get to hear from all these people who are in the same headspace as we are. Thousands of people who don't know their purpose, and even more who feel like they've lost that purpose. But reading all these comments makes us feel like we are welcomed. It makes us feel like maybe, just for once, we aren't alone. And that's what this is all about. Lo-fi and its community are here to help. It's all here to put its hand out and say, "Hey, I care about you." And in our darkest times, that's all we're really looking for. I need you guys to know that you are not alone. Whether it be from me or from thousands of others in the YouTube comment section, we're all here for you, and you should never forget that. Embrace being alone and think of everyone else who is doing the same, because when you do that, you'll realize that in reality, you never were alone. Unfortunately, on February 26, 2010, Seba had tragically passed away in a car accident. There were plenty of people very heavily grieving his death, and I want to emphasize plenty of people. Even when losing something important and someone you've looked up to, you're never alone. There is always others grieving with you. So even in your darkest of times, try your best to just take care of yourself. People care about you, and you can never forget that. And at the very least, I'm here for you. Just try your best, and I'll talk to you soon. I had the idea for this video a long time ago, about a year to be exact, but I'm thankfully doing much better now. But when I thought of this video, I was not in a good place. So if you're in a dark place, I really hope this video can help you out and just make you feel a little better. Of course, thank you so much for watching. There's a lot of new faces around here, so I'm really hoping you guys like this one. This is definitely the biggest project I've worked on, considering I did all of the editing as well as the music. You can find a link for that in the description. And of course, if you have anything to talk about, you can leave a comment, but also join the Discord. We got a lot of people who are willing to talk about stuff like this. But of course, thank you so much for watching, and please leave me any feedback you can, whether it be positive or negative. I love hearing all of it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.